We need to talk about that Reijnders debut, and we need to talk about the Club World Cup, Manchester City 2, Wydad Casablanca 0. Now, I have to say, I think it was a harder game than Man City expected. I think Man City were by far the better team in the first half, but there was chances conceded, and had they been more clinical, they could have caused City more issues. But you could say the same at the other end. I think Haaland could have scored right at the end. Was it Rico Lewis or Rodri that played that good ball in? And then you had Doku one-on-one, Foden had a good chance, which was created by Cherki. But the main talking point from that game was Reijnders. And I was a bit sceptical going into this game because I was like, Reijnders is an 8. Reijnders is someone you want to play further up, Rodri in the pivot. And he was playing Reijnders in a midfield with Cherki and Foden, who Cherki does his best work sort of out wide. Foden is more of a 10 that likes to sometimes drift out to the left. I was like, oh, like Reijnders is just a one-man like midfield. And he excelled at it because that's not Reijnders in his best role. Like to get the best out of Reijnders, and he was phenomenal today. Put Rodri in there and push Reijnders further out with his contributions in the final third is insane. And like as a Manchester United fan, very jealous of how Reijnders looked. Blown away by him today. Cherki was a bit quiet. I think he was trying too hard and he wasn't in his best role either. But look, Cherki's a talented player. He's younger. It's easier for someone like Reijnders to settle in with the experience he has. Cherki's a bit younger, and I think there were signs from Cherki, and I thought he was pressing well. So I want to talk about Reijnders, but then I do want to talk about the game Doku, Rico Lewis, Rodri, because Man City's midfield next season, it's not going to be normal. Like I look at Manchester City last season, and I feel the biggest reason for why Manchester City fell off last season was not just the Rodri injury, but also I think there was a lack of physicality in that midfield. Gundogan's legs are gone. I thought Gundogan was good late season in the running, but the legs are gone, and teams were kind of running through City easily. And obviously, Wydad, they're not as good as Premier League teams physically. And look, they were able to get through City a little bit today and have some chances, but they don't have that quality that maybe Prem sides would have had. That being said, they gave City a harder game than Southampton, and Southampton gave you a difficult game, but Southampton and Leicester have given a lot of teams this season. But I always felt the City's midfield let them down a bit last season, and obviously Marmoush is coming in, improving the attack. Cherki's going to come in with the attack, but Reijnders and Rodri's a new signing almost next season. That's such a good base. Foden, if he's back next season, looked fantastic today. Potentially you're still looking at De Bruyne replacements as well. City with a good midfield, on top of the fact that Marmoush, and the fact that some of the underperforming players last season could be back and better next season, and the depth of what Nico Gonzalez could offer could be very dangerous next season. Liverpool right now with the signing of Wirtz and everything, arguably title favourites, but I would put City as of now finishing above Arsenal next season and the City Liverpool title race. Unless Arsenal get on with some signings, City for me are going to finish higher. And Reijnders today, look, Foden got the goal, Foden got the assist, Foden looked a lot better, and look, happy for him because he's not scored in like 6 months, and I think he needed a bit of confidence. Something's clearly not right with Foden, maybe behind the scenes, I don't know. But Reijnders stole the show for me today. I felt that he dictated the tempo, he progressed play well, and he never wasted a touch. He wasn't in his best position, he had to do a lot by himself, and he was just there everywhere, picking up the ball, progressing play, and I think as a player in possession, absolutely beautiful. But he's got the physicality of Nunes. Nunes is really physically good, but sometimes his technicality lets him down. Gundogan's really technically good, but I think his physicality and legs have let him down. Reijnders had both. He had the best of both, and it was when you looked at what City needed, I said this months ago, and you looked at the exact profile of player City needed, it was Reijnders. So there's no shock or no surprise in my eyes that Reijnders has come in, first game, debut, and been phenomenal for Manchester City because he's literally the perfect profile you could have picked out 6 months ago. It's exactly what City need in midfield. And look, 52 touches, 1 chance is created in the first half. I couldn't find the second half stats. 100% tackles, 100% long balls, 96% pass accuracy. For me, long term, he's going to be the perfect Gundogan successor with the legs, with the physicality. Like he looks like a baller. And you look at him and you look at Rodri next season, and that could be cheat code. Because look, Rodri didn't start today. I thought Rodri was a little bit shaky when he came on, then did well to win the ball, play it into Haaland. Really good play there. But Rodri's got control, positioning, anticipation, really good technical qualities in progression. But then you've got Reijnders that can bring vertical progression, final third threat. I mean, Rodri's always really good at just scoring those clutch goals at the end of games from outside the box. But dynamism, movement, opening up space, picking the ball and providing a bit more creativity in the final third. Because I don't think you can replace De Bruyne with a straight out-and-out 10 De Bruyne replacement. Maybe Wirtz was that guy. But I feel like if you have Reijnders and then you have Cherki, and I think Cherki will be better out wide, but if you have Reijnders and a 10, you play Cherki on the right, with Rodri behind, the creativity is there and the balance is there. And that could make Manchester City particularly deadly next season because Rodri and Reijnders just balance. Rodri holds, Reijnders would drive. Both are press resistant, both are composed, both are intelligent. But as I said as well, like the more City have the ball and the quicker they progress the ball and the quicker they find the wingers in space or play them in or the quicker they play those forward passes, like Rodri played a really good pass into Haaland today, it's going to make the attack better. It's going to unlock Haaland. It's going to unlock the wingers. Cherki could also be on the wing, bringing some creativity. The smart distribution, the smart movement. I think Reijnders is going to be a top signing for Manchester City. So Reijnders played deeper today, but I think his long-term role will be box-to-box 8. I think, he's someone that's going to operate with some purpose. He's going to get the ball. He's going to pass vertically. He's going to get the ball. He's going to carry the ball, break the lines, protect possession. He's someone that is, for me, he's a long-term box-to-box 8. He played more as a 6, but pushing forward today. But he got the ball and he protected possession well today. He can do the dirty work. He can press. He can recover. He can defend transitions. He's got the legs. And it could go down as signing of the season. It really could. So let's talk about the Wydad game. What did we actually learn from Manchester City's 2-0 win over Wydad? Let's be honest, wasn't the best game in the world, but it was a composed, confidence performance. Wydad caused problems, particularly in transition. Maybe City's press wasn't as intense at times. They were vulnerable on the counter. And sometimes there was periods where I thought the City were a little bit easy to run through at times. And I think a tougher team and a better team could have caused City problems. But City set up like that because I think they knew that they weren't the best at attacking. And I think they were happy for them to run at them and get a little opportunity here and there because City wanted to be attacking themselves. And you look at the individual brilliance from Reijnders today, from Foden today, it helps City take control. I feel sorry for Rico Lewis. I personally don't think it was a red card. And I put Rico challenge was not a red, as in read. Because I didn't proofread these notes, which is annoying. I normally write all my notes, put it into AI to proofread, and I didn't proofread this slide. Not that I should need to proofread that, actually, because, red and red is two very, very different things. But that is a tragic spelling error there, actually. Yeah, I'm judging myself. But, yeah, I thought City played very well in the first half, but I thought the second half was boring. I'm not going to lie. Of the 45 minutes of the second half, I was out that room for at least 10 to 12 minutes. I was like, oh. And also, like, Man City aren't my team. So I was like, do I even want to watch this? And I was like, oh, I'll watch it. I'm trying to get into the Club World Cup. The first half was quite good. Second half was a bit of a... But I think when you got Juventus, and I assume we're going to get to the knockout stages so far, I think the competition's going to be exciting when the knockout stages start. I just think the group stage can be a bit... But look, Wydad didn't take the chances, but there's no denying that they caused City some issues. So I want to talk about Rayan Cherki. I think there was positive signs, but it wasn't the best debut in the world. Obviously, look, as a rival, I love a bit of rivals banter and all of that. But one thing I won't do is I won't pick on a player on their debut. Rayan Cherki, rivals are taking the mick out of him already. I don't do that. I love a bit of banter. I love winding up Arsenal fans. I like winding up City fans. All empty seats. But picking on a player after their debut or writing a player off after one game is ridiculous. He's a player that, he tried a bit too hard. He was trying, he's overthinking it. It's his debut. He's young. He's 21. He played in the central role. He is better out wide when he's got a bit of space when he's in the pockets. But look, he showed very good pressing. I thought his positioning was good. I thought his ball manipulation was good. And I think if you watch Cherki, he's a good player. And, there was a negative response online I saw. And I thought it was a little bit unfair. He's got the technical quality. I think he will be a good signing for City. I think he will shine. He's a 21-year-old kid. And look, as a rival, when I can banter City and put down City, I will. But, saying silly things as rivals about Cherki after his debut is crazy because there were some promising signs there. He could have got an assist. Was it Foden or Doku that missed that chance? He could have got an assist today as well. Talking to Foden, I thought he was really good today. I thought he looked sharper. And I think, Foden back to his best will be really important for City next season, particularly if you don't sign a 10. He got a goal, he got an assist, good delivery for the corner as well. And City don't really score from corners. And, Foden, really good delivery. Doku was there as well, of all the people to score from a corner, which is crazy. But Foden looked sharper. He looked more involved. And you look at sort of Reijnders and Rodri behind him next season and Foden gets his confidence back and he goes in the 10 and B's the main man, you could see Foden, player of the season Foden back again next season. I think if you get Rodri back and fit, you get player of the season Foden back, you get Erling Haaland back to his best, with Marmoush coming in, with Reijnders coming in, with Cherki coming in. That Man City side could be ridiculous next season. 8 we haven't even seen him yet at left back. I want to give a shout out to Doku. Like, I've never really rated Doku. Not that I've never really rated him. I think I like direct players that take people on, but he's very inconsistent. But I thought he was really good today, and I felt that he made City more dangerous. And I think there's definitely potential there with Doku. And I thought, he was the guy making City more threatening today, and beating defenders, had a good 1v1. Victor Reese, I think, was fine. A little error, but it didn't really matter in the end. He looks promising. He's a young player. It's going to take time, but I thought he was smart in the press. I thought he read the game well. I thought, good potential. I think he's there. I thought Rico Lewis had a good game. He was clean, composed, solid defensively. Made a good little run at the end as well. And it was a fantastic tackle. And I think he was really unlucky. Unlucky to get sent off. If I'm going to be totally honest, Rico Lewis, I think he was really unlucky to get sent off. And then just other things as well. I guess the set piece coach may have made an impact. City looked right from set pieces. And I do think Reijnders coming in is massively going to change City's midfield dynamic next season, particularly without Rodri. Foden, Cherki, Reijnders-Rodri, all technically elite, all very good options for midfield. And look, I think Cherki would eventually go out wide, but once Rodri's fit with Reijnders, that is a dangerous, not very normal midfield. And yeah, as a rival, it worries me a bit. Anyway, thank you for watching today's reaction on Manchester City Club World Cup first game. Let me know your thoughts down below. Bye.